Toy Story. What can we say about this awesome franchise that hasn't been said already? It's a classic. These movies are a complete classic. And I'm gonna come out and say it, I like the fourth one. I don't give a crap what anyone says. I like the fourth one. Yes, it's unnecessary, but I still like it. Not only has it invented a new method of animation, but it also brought together people of all generations, from kids to adults. And we love it all the same. Whether or not people like CG animation and just prefer 2D animation, Toy Story has impacted the world with its wonderful storytelling, amazingly written characters, and beautiful animation that holds up years after the release of each film. But while each of these films have received the critical praise that they deserve, out of the 4 films, there's only one single moment that seals a deal as to why these films exist. And that stems from the ending of Toy Story 3. Ever since the release of the beloved first 2 films, Toy Story 3 would end up being the #1 anticipated Pixar film in history, next to The Incredibles 2. That's the video for another time. And it definitely lived up to what it promised. A fun, exciting, hilarious, and emotional adventure amidst Andy's departure from his childhood home to entering adult college life. Not only did this film release at a perfect time 15 years after the first film and 11 years after the second film, but it also allowed us to grow up with these films and grow up alongside the character Andy going from childhood to adulthood. Although, I was like 15 when the movie came out, but whatever. The reason why I'm talking about this ending in particular, because I relate to Andy more so as my current adult life is now, as opposed to when I was 15 years old. And believe it or not, it's not because he gave away his toys. I mean, I gave those away when I was like 13. I didn't really have that emotional impact towards that. That's not where I relate in this context. This moment was more relatable to me in a different sense. When I first saw this movie's ending in theaters, it left me with emotions that I never thought I would feel. To see Andy have to separate from his toys that as a child he considered his friends. He had a deep emotional connection with an early part of his life, and giving that part of his life up to someone else was the hardest thing for him to do. But he knew he had to do it in order to move on and start fresh, start a new life, leaving his old friends behind. And while his old friends realize they're being left behind, they become a bit sad, depressed, and it's a little difficult to take in. But in the end, they know they have to move on as well. Watching this ending at 15 years old left me with emotions that were extremely difficult to hold in. I was crying. A lot. But it also left me a little confused. The amount of emotion Andy felt when he left his toys behind with a new owner wasn't the same emotion that I felt when I gave away my toys to a new owner at 13 years old. So at that age, I couldn't really figure out why I felt these emotions. But as I got older, it finally hit me. The emotion wasn't for my old toys. It was from my old friends back in high school, or college, or just old friends in general. When I was 15, I had this strong belief in my head that the friends I grew up with will always be at my side no matter what happens. I've been hanging out with them even after high school when I was going to community college. But when I graduated and moved on to a 4-year college, we lost contact a month later. In the end, it was really my fault that I lost contact because I focused more on trying to succeed in college and stuff like that. And because of that, I didn't see him again after that. And I tried contacting them back, and they didn't respond. I was depressed. It was really hard to deal with. I honestly didn't think I was going to get through college after that, or anything else that comes later. But the good news is, I've made new friends. Friends that helped me learn to keep in contact with them even after college. And I still keep in contact with them to this day. I mean, I'm 29 right now, and there's plenty of time in my life for me to make up for lost time that I thought I lost forever. And I guess it's okay to feel those emotions. And I guess in the end, I'm glad I did. I think that's what this movie means to me, and I think it's something I'll hold on for the rest of my life.